Welcome to my channel and welcome to those of you who are new. My name is Crystal. So today we will be discussing how becoming a BITCH or a B word changed my life, saved my life. I will be highlighting the many ways that being a people pleaser was damaging or can be damaging to some of us or to people who embody those characteristics, and how embracing and leaning into your goddess energy can transform your life for the better. I'm really glad that you're here. Let's get into today's topic. So let's define what a nice girl or a people pleaser is, right? For the purposes of this video, my definition of a nice girl or a people pleaser is someone who apologizes excessively. They apologize for existing. These are people who overextend themselves. They say yes to things when they really mean no. They allow people to violate their boundaries. Either that or they don't have any boundaries at all. These types of people, they tend to be conflict avoidant. They just don't stand up for themselves the way that they should. So just to summarize, they prioritize the needs and wants of others above their own. So at this point in the video, we'll be describing the cycle of being a people pleaser and why it can create many issues in your life. So typically the people pleaser, they put their needs last, or they overextend themselves, or they find themselves in a position where they have said yes to something, a request, a favor. They've said yes to it knowing that they couldn't follow through, or that it would be bankrupting them in some way, whether it be emotionally, financially, or it would just not make them the most comfortable. But because they seek to prioritize other people's comfortability, they've said yes to something that they weren't supposed to, right? And that leads to oftentimes the person doesn't reciprocate whatever it is, with the favor that you've given them. They can often feel entitled, or they take advantage of it or exploit your kindness. This person is probably not showing you the level of gratitude that you would like, or they just continually ask for more, which can be very frustrating. And in extreme scenarios, the person who is receiving from you can oftentimes misnomer you as bad or evil or a bad person, but they're still taking from you. It's kind of like a guilt trip thing. This can create resentment in the people pleaser. So they're super upset that they're not receiving whatever they were looking for, whether it be approval or reciprocity or applause or just praise for being such a nice person. They're not getting that, so they're frustrated, and that can create resentment between the person and the people pleaser. And then the cycle continues where the people pleaser gives more because they're trying to prove that they're a good person or earn some sort of approval from others. And then there's more overextension, more resentment. On the other side of things, the person who is receiving continues to not be grateful and to get more and more entitled to whatever it is that you are giving them. And that creates more resentment, and it just keeps going and going. And that is the cycle that many people pleasers can find themselves in. With some people, if not most, the more you give to them is the more that they request of you, and then slowly but surely the requests turn into demands or expectations of you. I was a people pleaser myself for many years. I was a good wife. I tried to do the right thing. I was trying to be the best daughter and all of the things. And the truth of the matter is, I didn't develop my people pleaser tendencies until later on in life. That's when it really manifested itself. But when I was younger, like a young girl, meaning a little girl, a child, I've always been naturally direct, bossy. I'm the first of 4 children, so naturally the first child tends to be more bossy and sure of herself. And I've always been outspoken, direct when it comes to expressing myself. And so I've always been that strong character from my from the earliest years of my youth, but due to social conditioning, I developed a crippling fawn response. Some of the social conditioning that I experienced had to do with religion, culture, even being raised in a predominantly white neighborhood as a Black female affected the way I present myself, because there is this stereotype, this very negative stereotype of Black women or females being loud, bangy, mean. So to combat that, I wanted so badly to prove that, oh, I'm not mean, I'm not a bad person. Because of my surroundings and the environment I was in, I felt the strong need to constantly prove that I'm nice and kind and giving and all of these things, to try to combat the negative stereotype that was often placed on me and other Black females and Black males in my predominantly white school and neighborhood. In addition to that, I feel like I developed this because of, and many people pleasers become people pleasers because of this, due to a toxic family system where you are assigned a negative label. Like if you're the bad one, or labeled as the black sheep or the scapegoat of the family. Like if you're the scapegoat in a narcissistic family or in a toxic family, then you will automatically constantly be trying to overextend to earn the approval or love or affection of your parents or of the people that are family members and things like that, because you've been unfairly and often incorrectly assigned this label or role in the toxic family system. So you find yourself trying to prove that, oh, I'm a good person, and overextending yourself and putting your needs last and just doing the most to try to get out of that label where it's already been assigned to you and it's just not going to change. Yeah. So those are some of the things that kind of caused me to subdue that part of me. Funny thing is, as a little girl, I've always favored the Disney villains, right? Which I believe, now that I've reflected on my life and my childhood, I've always kind of had a liking for the Disney villains. I've admired their cunning nature, how powerful and relentless they were, and I feel like that represents the dark aspect of my femininity, because there's a light femininity, which is giving, soft, very mild in nature, malleable, receiving, and then there's dark femininity that is powerful, takes charge, and things like that. So I kind of liked that, you know. As a little girl, like with The Little Mermaid, I wanted to be, you know, Ursula, when she became a human, I wanted to be her. Like, I remember having the storybook and I would just be like, she's so beautiful and so like evil, you know. So I really do think that that admiration for Disney villains speaks to my natural nature of being direct, bossy, outspoken, going against the grain, things like that. And yeah, so because of social conditioning, I felt like I needed to deny that part of myself and be more in my light feminine. So the transition to my true BITCH self was all about me allowing myself, giving myself permission to be my most authentic self. This also included letting go of social conditioning, fawning, the fear of rejection, fear of labels. I had to let all of that go to be able to and give myself permission to embrace my dark femininity, to no longer deny who I really am and the parts of me where I find strength and beauty. And a key gem that I would like to insert here is that you are more kind and able to do more for others, actually, when you are upfront and honest about what you can and cannot do. These are some tactics that I apply to my life to become the BITCH or the B word that I am today without any guilt or negative feelings. So let's proceed. Number one, I embraced my authentic self, and the best way to do that is to take a deep dive into you. Take a deep dive into who you are. You must separate yourself from your mind's own limitations as well as the opinions of others. Ask yourself, who am I really? List your needs. Identify what environments allow you to flourish. What types of people do you gravitate to or are gravitated to you? Be brutally honest with yourself and keep in mind that your authentic self can be reformed as your life's experiences change or with gained wisdom. Who you are at your core will change. With wisdom comes new perspectives, new opinions, new wants, desires, and needs. Allow yourself some fluidity in that area because who you were yesterday can change today. Who I was last year is different from who I am now, 6 months ago, 6 months forward. It's just we're constantly interacting with other people and gaining experiences, gaining wisdom from the lessons that we learn in this life. So who you are will ebb and flow along with your experiences. So number two, stop apologizing so much for existing. Like, why are you apologizing so much for everything? Apologize less. You should really be reserving your apologies for immoderate scenarios, like extreme situations where you've really wronged someone and you have to issue out an apology for those scenarios. Yes, that is fine, but just for 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, just really keep it at a minute level and reserve it for extreme situations, like I just said. Also, you can replace it's okay with you're welcome. For instance, when someone thanks you for doing something, like, wow, thank you so much for doing that, instead of responding with it's okay or don't worry about it, just kind of taking the spotlight off of you, allow yourself to be in the spotlight and acknowledge your effort, acknowledge your kindness and whatever it is that you did for that person by saying you're welcome. This is a way to acknowledge your efforts and whatever it is that you did that you're being thanked for. It's a way to give yourself respect and legitimacy. Number three, make your yeses expensive and say no the first time. You shouldn't say no to everything. You may be in a season of yes. For example, you can be in a season of yes to pleasure, self-service, gift receiving, princess or queen treatment. That kind of yes is welcomed. Like, that will definitely support you becoming a better you by learning how to receive, especially if you're a recovering people pleaser. Saying yes to those things are for restoration purposes, and so yeah, you can definitely say yes to anything that serves you. The yes that leaves you depleted has to be rejected at all costs. Just a general rule of thumb, say yes because you want to, not because you're feeling pressured to do so or because you don't want to let the person down. Say yes because it supports your up-level journey. So, how have these tactics changed my life or saved my life, literally? So, becoming a BITCH has literally changed my life, and these are the ways how it has. Self-preservation. I approach most things keeping my self-preservation in mind, and this is preeminent for femininity and for health purposes, you have to put yourself first. Yeah, I always preach self-preservation on this channel. So if you've been with me for a little while, you know why I say that you should always seek to or prioritize self-preservation. Number 2, I'm less resentful. I'm less angry because I'm honoring myself and I'm always putting myself and my needs at the forefront. Number 3, I have more time to myself and to my son and to the people who matter to me, which is really only my son. Also, I have more time for myself to do things that I want to do for my son or for myself. In addition to that, people respect my time more. They know that if I agree to do something or if I'm going along with something, that it shouldn't be taken for granted because it is so rare that I say yes or that I decide to give my time to something. So when you're sparing with your time or you give your time sparingly to things, and people appreciate it more. That's just a little psychology trick. Number 4, people are forced to align themselves with my desires and needs and my boundaries. People around me, they know that they have to adjust themselves or tighten up and be very careful when it comes to my boundaries. I am not a doormat. I am not going to set myself on fire to keep everyone warm. I will rest when I need to. I will prioritize my family, and that is just what it is. And because of this, people learn not to mess with you. And if people are not messing with you, you feel more empowered and embodied in your goddess energy. Number 5, I am more in tune with my needs. I'm more capable to identify when I'm approaching burnout or when I'm getting too stressed, and then I'm able to kind of repair that because I'm in tune with myself. If I was out of tune with my own needs and wants and desires, then I wouldn't be able to identify it until it's too late. Therefore, I wouldn't be able to prevent burnout and collapse. Number 6, the right people will be attracted to your authenticity. So because you're living in your true essence as a goddess, as a B word, as a BITCH, whoever is willing to serve that cause is going to gravitate to you. And those who are looking to take and exploit will be turned off by it and they will not be around you anymore, which is perfectly fine. We don't want people like that around us. We want people who support our feminine journey, who support us being our authentic self, and who we don't have to pretend to be someone else or squelch ourselves or minimize our energy and our auras, right? So be yourself, and the people who love you for you will gravitate towards that energy. Yeah. So that concludes my video. Let's close this out with a quote. I will gladly be the villain in your story if it means that I'm the hero in my own. So what that means to me is I have to be my own hero. I have to prioritize my needs, my wants, my desires, the needs, wants, and desires of my son as well. And if that means that I'm a bad person, that I'm a B word and every other name surrounding those characteristics, then I will wear that label proudly, and I'd much rather be my own hero than to be your hero at my own expense. So that's an important quote, and I hope you guys carry that with you as you're hopefully letting go of your people-pleasing tendencies and looking to be a true goddess, comfortable with being labeled something that you're not. And the thing is, It doesn't matter what you do in this life. And what I've learned is you can be the sweetest person, you can be giving, considerate, kind, gentle. Some people will just not like you. Some people will call you the worst names you could ever think of. So you might as well prioritize yourself and embody that. Like, okay, since I'm a B word, then let me be a B word and let me live a peaceful, beautiful life where I'm not burnt out trying to serve people who secretly don't like me and all of those things. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't matter if you're volunteering at the church, at the mosque, feeding the poor, healing the sick. It literally doesn't matter. Someone will find fault with whatever it is that you're doing. So just be yourself, embrace your dark femininity, embrace your BITCH, B word E qualities and tendencies, and you will feel more powerful. You will feel less apologetic, and it may be uncomfortable at first, but it's something that you have to do. As a feminine woman, you cannot be a people pleaser. No, you're supposed to really reserve those characteristics of people pleasing and being a doormat, like for your kids. That's the only person that you're supposed to be going the extra mile for at the expense of your own comfortability. Yeah, that's for your kids, not for any man, not for any family members, not for any friends. If those people are requiring that of you, they don't really care about you that much. So let's try to embody that moving forward, ladies. All right, so thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate all of your support, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.